Welcome to AutoRetro, a podcast where we talk to people about the cars of their lives. I'm Ed.
And I'm David.
And who do we have with us, David?
Our guest tonight has a Bachelor in Communication.
She's not a bachelor.
She's not a Bachelor, no.
And she wasn't on The Bachelor.
No, it wasn't on The Bachelor.
Not that we know of.
Not
that we know of.
Although she has a very high social media profile. So, you know, she may well. That might be something in the future. She's actually worked in the automotive industry for the last 15 years. She's currently the operations manager for custom plates with the Department of Transport, which is Vic Roads.
We've got some stuff to delve into there.
We have quite a few things. Our guest is Melissa Ong. Welcome, Melissa.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming along.
Thanks for coming along. Now, our paths first crossed, late 2000s when we both found ourselves working at the Melbourne Motor Show.
That's
when
correct.
that was still a thing. But unfortunately, that's no longer a thing. But gee, it was fun, wasn't it, while it lasted?
Was, absolutely. Yes, I was a representative.
Being paid to talk to people about cars, basically.
Yeah, that was my job.
Exactly. So. Fabulous.
So that means we've actually all worked at the Melbourne Motor Show. And I wonder if we were there at the same year. What year did you say that was?
I reckon we're close to 09.
Well, it would have been 08 or 09.
08,
The
09?
Honda City
I was on the
sedan.
BMW stand.
There you
The
go.
enemy.
08, 09.
We could have gone and got some overpriced takeaway food together, couldn't we, had we known?
I had free meal vouchers back then.
You got free meal vouchers. I didn't get free meal
hey, I was
vouchers.
working.
Yeah, we got
outrageous.
some sort of voucher, I think, to go get lunch. And you'd scoff it down and then back on the stand. You know.
BMW had the nice coffee, didn't you?
Yeah, I think the coffee was always good. But our stand was right at the start, near
That's
the
right.
entrance gate. So people would just flood into BMW and then disperse out to the
And it
others.
was multi-level too.
It
your
was,
stand.
but we
fancy.
got
Yeah, very
everyone,
fancy.
and it was like we got everyone whether they like Beamers or not.
Got
who
any
kind of
stickers,
came
mate?
in.
Did you get
Yeah,
that?
got any brochures, got any stickers.
We got some posters.
Oh, we got all sorts there.
Yeah.
It was quite. If you like people watching, it was good.
Well,
If
we're
you're
not-
trying to sell cars, not so.
Not so
Not
good.
so good.
No. But we are digressing from
We are
our
digressing.
normal format, okay? So we do have to ask Melissa, we have to have you go back. Being in the car industry for as long as you have, obviously you've been interested in cars for many, many years before that. So what's your earliest car memory?
Oh, goodness me. My earliest car memory, I think, was just driving in, or being the passenger, the back seat of a 1984 Mitsubishi Nimbus. So that was the
Wheels
first
Car
one.
of the Year.
And that was that the year that it won? I think it
was.
was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1984. You were on
There
trend.
go. Oh, I was on trend. Well,
Yes.
Dad bought that a few years later, I think, because I was the last of four.
Okay.
So, so I was in the car and I learnt how to read, didn't I? And I'd read the badges. And back in those days, it was Falcon, Commodore,
Magna.
Magna.
No, Magna was 85. It wasn't quite
Verano?
Magna.
No, I wasn't there.
No,
we weren't
no,
there
not
yet.
Magna.
No, this is a few years later.
Okay.
I bought in 89, so
Oh, right,
just,
fine,
just
fine,
putting
yeah.
my age out there now, just advertising. So, I mean, that's essentially what I recall. And, my parents being the parents they were, our family outings consisted of these AIMS, which is the Australian International Motor Show. So every year as kids, we went.
We went.
That was just a
and I
family
was one of
thing.
those annoying kids that were at
Yeah.
BMW stand asking for posters and all sorts of
Yeah.
things.
And you
So-
take away plastic bags.
yes, absolutely.
full of
The show
brochures.
bags and all sorts of things. So getting the
gee, I
face
miss those
painted
days.
down at MG or something, 'Cause,
Actually,
yeah.
when MG were actually were MG.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
When they were real MG. Yeah, so I
That's
mean,
right.
running around and, got the old Kodak out, the old camera,
Yeah.
the altar, Dad's taking photos of us with cars,
Wait
and I
for
still
the-
have them.
and you wait for it to come
course
around on
you
the
do.
swivel.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
snap.
it's just-
Yeah, get the
so-
right angle as it comes
Yeah,
out.
so I mean, and that's my
cool.
earliest car memories. Me and my siblings just running around making
In
a
the
ruckus.
velour of the Nimbus. as
Yes,
well.
that's
Yeah.
oh yeah, the velour. Yeah,
They only had one trim. I think it was grey velour, and that was it.
ours was brown by the
Oh,
end.
brown. Okay, maybe
I think
two
the
trim.
gold. I think the gold Nimbuses had the brown
Okay,
trim.
okay, there you go. Brown.
Tan.
And biscuit.
Very absorbent.
Biscuit.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good memory to have because those road trips as when you're young, obviously, you were probably shotgun in the very back.
Absolutely.
In the back row.
Backpack, we called
Back,
it.
back.
So the shotgun backpack.
Not normal backpack.
Yeah, backpack. So it was the back, then
Not
the
duck,
backpack.
duck, backpack.
Obviously, none of us got the front, so that was like, no,
No,
sorry,
that's right.
reserved.
No,
reserved.
That's parent space only.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And the backpack in the Nimbus wasn't very big.
No, pretty tight. I
Yeah, when
think,
you
'cause
look at a
they
Nimbus
sort of
now
folded
as a
into
people
four.
movie, you're like, it's really...
Look
Our friend
tiny.
still has one, and you're kind of like,
I showed
it's not a
Melissa
big
some photos
car.
before.
Yeah, but that was normal back then.
Yeah.
That was a big
I
think
don't
we've
know
had it
why
over
I
for
did
a
it.
while.
Like, I don't know why, because you had, obviously, the wind down windows at the back, but
Yeah.
the backpack had the little
Did it have the pop-outs?
Window.
Yeah,
exactly. It's
yeah.
never get the airflow.
And you sort of
we
lean
put aircon on back then. That wasted too much petrol. I think that was the way. So Dad's like, no, it's aircon. You got to do this or this. You know,
open the window.
Yep.
That's actually pretty advanced because a lot of those third row SUV people mover didn't have opening windows in the back. I actually didn't realise the Nimbus had them.
Yeah,
that's pretty
cool.
Ever
so slightly.
Learned something.
Yeah, I've learned something.
Yeah.
And that's the idea of tonight, isn't it?
Exactly.
Educate.
Exactly.
So moving on from the Nimbus, and one other thing that I didn't mention is that Melissa has a huge collection of Hot Wheels cars.
I do.
So not Matchbox, only Hot Wheels.
Oh no, look, I've got some variety. Mostly, I would say it's like a 90-10 split.
Okay.
So
what tipped you to Hot Wheels though over Matchbox? Because as a Matchbox guy, I'm interested to know.
Well, it's still Mattel, like
it's all Mattel.
These days. Yeah. What tipped me off? So basically, as a young girl, and I was interested in cars. You know, this is my teenage years when I got some pocket money at my local news agency job that I had. Couldn't afford a real car, obviously.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
you know, used to wait for Mum to pick me up, and there was a local Woolworths down at the shop. And I'll walk in there and I'll have a look at the toy cars. I'll try and scavenge through and see what ones I'd like. And obviously, I only really stick to branded cars that I like. So it was all the Japanese cars to begin with, and then it just went on and on. Hey, I like the look of that, and then I'll buy that.
And the bright colours and that sort of thing.
And I thought I was the only one doing it as an adult. And then the internet happened. Then the internet happened, and then I was like on Facebook, someone's joined me. You got to join this Hot Wheels group.
Yeah,
there's a lady down at the Caribbean Gardens that sells them and all this stuff. And then I saw fully grown men fighting over toy cars. And I'm like, you are the guys that have been shopping at my local Kmart and Target, getting all the good ones.
Getting all the good ones.
And I thought I was the only one. I thought I was versing young kids and mums, you know, just picking out a car.
Oh, here you go.
No,
Here's
no,
the red one.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. I was up against professionals.
Yeah.
But anyway, I now consider myself one as well. I've got it down like to an exact science of when I get them all off, because you got to like tip through and see which
what's
ones
at the
you've
back.
got. Yeah, but I've got it down pat now. Like, moving
a
all the
technique.
hooks.
I'll have to talk to you later about that.
Yeah. I'll show you the
I've
technique.
missed out badly. And you've actually got your favourite stores to go to, haven't you?
Oh, look, quite a few. You know,
You probably can't reveal them on the podcast.
well,
No.
the
Keep them on the
secret.
download.
That's
Absolutely.
correct, but look, the further you can get out from Melbourne, the better ones you find.
Okay.
You've got to remember, your local service stations also have them. They're on short cards, but your servos have them too.
Repco have them too.
Yeah, Coles Express.
Okay.
A bit of a tidbit for those people that are wanting to.
Yes. You keep telling me IGA, and I haven't found any in my local IGA.
I was living in Whittlesea back then, so during lockdown, that was within my 5Ks.
Thank you very
so,
much.
Whittlesea.
I'll have one of them, and one of them, and one of them.
Yeah,
So I mean, most kids get into, like, I got into, you know, model cars or cars in general because when I was 3, my parents' friend gave me a model car and I was just hooked. That was it. For you were so much older than that. You were 15.
Yeah.
That is unusual, particularly for a female to be so into cars as a teenager.
Oh, I was into Tamagotchis too and all sorts of weird gadgety
so it kind
toy
of
things.
Tamagotchis is something I haven't heard of.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that a very I was going to say 90s reference, but it's later than that.
No, it was early 90s. I think. Oh, maybe.
2000s?
No, it was early 90s. I was in primary school.
Tamagotchis. Yeah, you
'Cause
got to
I had
keep them,
Furbies
and you had
too.
to keep them alive.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so I don't know. I just picked it up.
Were your siblings car people?
Yeah, they were. So
okay.
again, so I'm the last of 4.
Yep.
So my elder sister, so she had this super cool VN Commodore with a Group A body kit.
Oh my
I loved
God.
getting dropped off to school in that thing because it was all the kids that were like, oh yeah.
That's like
Like,
respect.
that's my sister's car. I'm getting dropped off and picked up in it.
I know her.
I know her.
Yeah, she's with me.
So that was one of her first cars, and
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
you know, the full-on and I still
Imagine
laugh
what it's
about.
worth now.
I know, I laugh about this now. You know, the JVC or Kenwood head units with the dolphins that
Yes.
used to run through.
Yes,
the retro
yes, I
ones.
remember that.
I'm trying to find one on eBay now. The minute one comes up, I'm buying them. I'm like, what's going on my Honda? So she had that, and then she, you know, obviously she went on to having a family. Then she, you know, she had another Commodore, and then, no, straight after that, actually, she had a Honda Prelude VTIR. Beautiful car.
Totally
Beautiful
different.
car. Yeah. Lovely car.
Not good for ferrying kids around.
Not
No,
good, no.
no.
So her firstborn was coming, and so they upgraded to a Commodore in the interim, then a Holden Captiva in the interim.
Oh dear.
And then
Okay.
she's ended up in the Range Rover Evoque. So that's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then she got there in the end.
There's a bit of a
Step up from the Captiva.
And then, yeah, got there. Captiva got handed up to Dad, so that's what my dad had until that's now it's ceased to run now. So that, you know,
Yeah.
rest in
Yeah,
peace.
they
do
seem
that.
to do that.
They do
Yeah, the
that.
diesels
Yeah.
are just lovely in them, aren't they?
Now, fast forward a few years from when you were 15 and buying the first of these Hot Wheels and getting into that. What was the first car you ever drove?
Okay, so probably the Nimbus, the 84 Nimbus, without power steering.
So this was L plates kind of thing.
L plates. Oh, this is probably even prior to that. Don't tell anyone that.
Yeah,
No. Secret stay with us.
Quiet country
In
road.
the paddocks of Montrose.
whatever.
No, look, it probably was the Nimbus. So Dad upgraded the Nimbus to yet another Nimbus. So we
went first gen to second gen.
Yeah,
did
Well,
we?
there was progression back
There was
in those
progression,
days.
yes.
Yeah.
It had an Alpine CD stacker, 6 CDs we could put in that thing. That was.
Mariah Carey, Janet Jackson.
Have you listened to me?
No, I
You
haven't.
know too much.
I haven't.
You know too much.
I literally-
my
I haven't-
first CD I ever bought, compact disc, was Mariah Carey Daydream, 1996.
Wow.
I've profiled our guest well.
You have.
It's funny because today I had some car parts stored in my grandmother's garage. I went there quickly to go grab them out, and I found my CDs because not
you got to keep that.
where you
Yeah,
store
yeah,
them.
keep that.
I actually grabbed a handful because my Kia still has a CD player.
Yes.
One of the last.
Okay,
So I've got
yes.
a bunch of Ministry of Sound CDs sitting in my
Beautiful.
Kia as we speak. As soon as I leave here, back in again.
Ministry of Sound. That was huge.
You know every word.
They were huge. And there's something nice about putting in a CD. I said this to someone the other day. We were sitting in some car trying to Bluetooth on, Bluetooth connect. No, stop pairing, unpair, repair.
Yep.
And I'm like, in the old days, you just put a bloody disc in and it just
and that nice
plays.
little whir
Yeah,
sound
and
that
the-
feeds in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, if we're going even backwards, like let's go back to the Nimbus.
Tapes.
Tape deck.
Yeah, tape deck. Yeah. Chewing.
And
it
you got to
up usually.
rewind that. You know,
Yeah.
you got to do
With
the
a pen,
rewind.
yeah.
But no,
So you drove the Nimbus first car, and
I think it
then
was the first car, and my sister also had a Subaru Impreza, early model.
Yep.
I think we were talking 92.
not a WRX,
Not a
just
WRX.
just
She
a
had the-
normal.
That's right, but it
Yeah.
was hotted up because that was the day of Auto Salon.
Oh,
I don't know if she went through that era. So
Okay,
she was
so-
in that era. So I was attending, so I was
Wow.
15, 16 years old. Maybe even earlier. And that was the Fast and the Furious generation.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So she did, nice Valside body kits, a few stickers, a few neon lights,
She went the full hog now.
Yeah.
And was it mechanically modified as well, or was it
Oh,
just...
no, just
no.
it was.
Nah,
No, look, to
Was it
redeem...
manual? Please say
No, it was
manual.
automatic.
automatic.
Wait, but back then you put it in neutral so you could roll back at the lights to make it
roll
out
back.
that you were in a
Yeah,
manual, remember?
yeah, that's right.
So that was her. But I have to say, she did redeem herself, so she did end up in a WRX, and
Okay.
that's very tuned now. Like it's.
Okay.
So she's still got that.
No, she got a new WRX. She sold that one off.
Okay.
Yeah, so she bought the new WRX or newer WRX and done that all up, and now that lives in the garage because it's probably not roadworthy to drive it. So she's waiting for
gone a
that.
bit too far.
She's waiting for that to go on club permit. So she's bought a daily. She's got a little Kia Rio to get her around. Sounds familiar. Yeah.
I think a lot of
There's
car
a thing.
people do that. You go, I need a daily.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's a common trajectory, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you went. I was going to say, what was the first car you then owned? You drove
Okay,
the Nimbus.
yes,
What did you own?
So look, I had a prerequisite. So it came the time where it's time to buy your first car. 17, turning 18. Year 12. So coming towards the end of year 12. I had prerequisites. It had to be white. It had to be a
White.
Honda,
It
Okay.
had to be a Honda.
and it had to be a manual.
And
Wow, okay.
Where did that come from? The whole Honda thing. How did
The motor show. That just
Oh,
and
okay.
Fast and the Furious. Like I was obsessed.
Just Honda,
I had
Honda,
older
Honda.
friends. Again. So dating back, the Chapel Street days. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever hit that.
Oh,
But that
look, I
was-
never partook, but I was well aware of it.
Yeah. So my sister partook and her friends, and occasionally I'd
Okay.
ride passenger. So
Yeah.
that whole driving up and down the street with absolutely no destination in mind,
No.
except the St Kilda
Except
Marina
Chapel.
to
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
some Ministry of Sound. So I got on board there. So that's what got
Okay,
me obsessed
so
with
a
Honda. And I
white
was obsessed.
Honda manual. It had to be.
Now, rewind a few years forward. The internet is wonderful. So I forgot to add my brother. He had a GTS R33, so it was his first car,
Okay.
and he's like, I really want a GTR front bar. He started this, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I'm sure we can
It's his
find one.
fault.
And back then it was like Fire Sport. That was like the trading post of the car world.
What was it
Fire
called?
Fire
Sport.
Sport. Do you know what?
Fire Sport.
Never
I've
heard
never
of
heard of it.
Guys, we're going to have to
never
go
heard
through.
of it.
I thought we were connected, Ed.
Yeah, you're not
I thought
connected
we
at
are
all.
not.
Fire Sport. Well, do you remember there was a place called Century City in Springvale?
Yeah,
Where
I
I
know,
got
I've
the
heard of that.
Altezza style tail lights.
I've heard of Century City.
Okay, basically. So anyway, Fire Sport. I joined this forum called NissanSylvia.com.
Yep.
Shameless plug to them.
Yeah.
And there was just a huge community of car people, whether you're a Nissan person, a Toyota person, a Honda person, you were all just on there talking about cars. And we were trying to find this GTR front bar. So, helping my brother out. I was 15. Hey guys, 15-year-old's got to buy a front bar.
Whatever.
And got to fabricate it to her brother's front bar. But anyway.
I'll get my pocket money.
Yeah, I just
That's it. I love it. I love that's what you were doing at 15.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. And that's the thing. But even, I remember sitting and paid attention in IT, didn't I? We actually used to have IT classes back when I was in year 9 and 10. We got to learn what an MP3 file was. It was fantastic.
And a floppy disk.
Yeah, floppy disks. I think they phased out.
I
was onto USB.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a bit older, but
There was mini disc in between that too.
Yeah. I remember those in BMW E46s.
Yeah.
You could option the mini disc player.
Even the import
Didn't that go far? Wow.
The import S2000s had them too, and some of their hedge units.
it's the Betamax of disc
It
players,
is.
isn't
It is. Exactly right. It is.
Yeah, now we've got CarPlay and Android Auto. It's like, wait, look how far we've come. But yeah, we did IT class, and I was just sitting there, and I would just, but the boys, and this is why I've got so many male friends. The guys will be on Nissan Silvia as well. We're all sitting there looking at cars for sale, and S13 Silvias and stuff. So then they're going to a friendship group, all the guys, and me just sitting on forums that we can't afford. We're looking at cars we can't afford. And then I ended up joining this forum called S2KI, which fabricates me. It's every sense of the word is who I am today. It took me a long time to get.
Which is
my
S2K, S2000.
Yeah, it's S2000 International.
Honda to S2000 two-door convertible sports car that we
Correct.
know and love.
Yes.
So your first car had to be white, had to be Honda. Did it have to be an S2000?
Oh,
Or was
it
it? Or was it?
That was the dream.
Were you aiming for a Civic or something?
Oh no! I was aiming for that S2000, but look, coming fresh out of high school, and the car at that point in time, I think was still sitting between $40,000 to $50,000. And I had rich taste. I was like, no, it has to be Grand Prix white. It has to be an EP2. Like I was selective back then. You can't be picky with these cars. There's slim pickings right now, but you can't be picky.
Yeah.
Look, so that was the dream. But look, knowing full well that I wasn't in the position, I was working a part-time job. There was no way I was going to afford that. And mum and dad would have been like, don't buy a house, don't do something dumb like that. So still doing that today. So look, then I settled for that Civic. And it's funny, I found it at the local car yard, which is better known as Car City Ringwood.
We all know that. Keep your eyes open for a bargain.
These guys.
Car City.
Yeah, so I found it at Car City.
More shameless plugging.
It's a
Car
good,
City.
but it's a great
Jingle,
jingle
the jingle
because we
works.
remember it. It's a great
Marketing 101.
Now, what Civic was this? What model?
This was an ES1, so I got a 2001 GLI.
Yep.
Like one trim.
Yep.
So I did.
Tie built. First.
No. Tie built next year, 2002. Mine was Japanese.
David, is that a Honda fact that you've gotten wrong?
I'm going to tell you my VIN number. JHMES
Oh, okay.
1550 1S202692.
Okay.
I am.
All right. I'm
That's
impressed. There you go.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. I was obsessed with that car. So yeah,
That
MRH
is,
joined in 2002,
okay.
and they actually got ABS. Mine didn't have that, which would have been handy because I did. I ended up rear-ending somebody in that car. So look, that's what got me to uni. So eventually, sorry, let's
it was all
rewind back.
Civic.
Civic. Got the Civic. It's Car City Ringwood.
Yeah.
Beautiful place.
And that was a good car. You
And
liked
1 month later.
Oh.
1 month later, I get a job at Ringwood Honda. No, Patterson Sheeny, and there's a white one in a manual sitting on the lot.
As in S2K?
No, white Civic.
No, not
the
Civic.
identical Civic to mine. I'm like,
could have bought it here.
But was it better than yours?
yeah, it was. It was the upgrade of the facelift,
Right,
little
okay.
Just
facelift.
a little trade.
But probably but it was a little bit more expensive, and I was like, I love my car, so
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep.
yeah.
Hang on to it.
Yeah.
Well, you did for a while.
I
Anyway.
did for a while. Yeah, I still know where it is.
So what was your role at Honda? How did that come
Okay,
about?
so coming towards the end of year 12 and hadn't got me into school yet, and sitting on my ass, I was like, better go get a job and do something. So I worked. My mum had some casual work, so I worked with her for a little bit. And then back then there was no Seek.
No.
It was the local Maroondah Leader newspaper.
Flick through that.
Advertising
Turning the
for-
page.
Yeah, advertising for a receptionist at Holden and Honda. I'm like,
And you went, not so much the Holden.
Not so
yes,
much.
the
Yeah,
Honda.
that's correct.
I'll go Honda.
But I didn't
Thank
know
you.
how in depth this reception job was. It was actually a service advisor for Honda. So once I got in, there was a girl there. And
So it was
Yep,
service
yep.
reception, not
So
just
that's
not
correct,
just answer the phone reception.
Yeah, service reception. So I got to learn, like, I owe it to Steve Joyce if he's listening. He literally taught me everything
Steve.
I knew. And yeah, so he was the service manager up until just middle of last year, and as we know, where Honda's dealer network has really dwindled and downsized
significantly.
I did meet up with them a couple of months ago, so everyone's still in good spirits. But
Best case scenario.
So
that role though is, for anyone listening, is it basically you call to book your car in for service. You don't just get the normal receptionist necessarily. You get put through to service reception, where you deal with the mechanics out the back. You're scheduling pickups, drop-offs. You're explaining bills to people about what's been done with their car. So for a car person to be in that role, much more fun than normal reception.
Absolutely,
You're learning about remain seal and head gasket and drive shaft and blah blah blah.
And still to this day, I can tell you recall numbers. I can tell you my VIN number. I can tell you common faults on a CRV and RD CRV on hard lock turns. It's instilled up here, and I spent 4.5 years there. And then I was like, look, I should go back to uni. I should actually educate myself.
Maybe.
That was good enough. So I spent 1.5 years there, and then I was doing part-time uni, but then I decided to go back full-time. So,
And were you driving your Civic that whole time, or did you end up driving the service loan cars?
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of cars through there, as well as driving. Civic Hybrid was awesome. Had Civic Hybrid, and look, going from an ES Civic to an FD Civic, the whole shape of the car changed, and I was like, wow, look at this spaceship dash, and and again the hybrid model, which is completely different to what I'm used to. I drove the Insight for a bit as well, which was good, but you had a bit of everything.
So the Gen 1 Insight or the second gen?
Second gen.
Oh yeah, the 5-door hatch,
one that used to grow little trees on the dashboard.
Yeah, that's right.
Economically. The CRZ as well. The CRZ.
Yeah, a friend of mine has one. He loves it.
Oh, they had Misty Violet too. That purple colour.
Yes.
Beautiful car. Still to this day, I won't do it. No, I gotta stop adding.
Never say never, Melissa.
I know, but if I had a choice, I would just have a shed full of Hondas.
Okay.
I am a Honda guy.
David does have a shed full of Hondas.
Oh, hello. Have we met? Yeah.
I only have one.
Yeah, that's true. For now.
Yeah, for now. But that's a great place to work, and you were there in an era of interesting Hondas, like that hybrid and the CRZ. They were still doing some funky stuff.
Ah, that's right.
Not that they're not doing good cars now, but it was more so then, I feel.
I agree, and the engineering side of things and the technology learned from the racing, from Formula One, really showed through in the cars they were producing then. And you'd be having Preludes and Integras coming in.
And from first buyers, right? So people had been buying in the early 90s, they're still bringing their car back 6 months on the dot every service.
They were very loyal.
Absolutely.
And someone, I don't know the stats now, but someone told me once, Honda buyers are one of the most, like Porsche buyers, one of the most loyal brands.
Absolutely.
If you've had a Honda. And I would say this to people, Ed, what car do you recommend to buy? And I said, I've never met a Honda buyer that wasn't happy. And I can still hand on heart say that now. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's owned a Honda and gone, I hated my Honda. It was a piece of crap.
Oh, the PAS surveys.
No.
No. Look, I will admit,
I just don't come across them.
I mean, I got to know the cars quite intimately, obviously, having them pulled apart in the workshop and things like that. But I got to see the brands, with the Japanese built ones, the Thailand built ones.
Yep.
I got to know them well.
American built ones.
American built ones, the old ones. But just looking, at where the brand was and where it grew to up until even now, because I've kept my foot in the door at Honda. I still, I keep myself, knowledgeable and seeing what they're bringing out, because I'm still very interested in what they're offering. Slowly dwindling down to a very small range, but I'm still involved.
That might build up again, though. It might be this is a recession Honda had to have. Down and then expanding.
Yeah.
He's hoping.
But the racing heritage, like you said, and even watching the old Bathurst 24 Hours, seeing the old Integra Type R's and things like that.
Cracking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cracking.
But even getting to know, and like you mentioned, the customer retention, it was there. We called it H to H. People went Honda to Honda.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Pretty
H
common.
to H.
H to H. Yeah, we're going to use that somewhere.
We're going to use that. I like that.
Now, what happened after that? So you went back to uni.
Went back to uni, and I couldn't let go. So I worked in automotive. We'll just say that. And I couldn't let go, so I came back to Honda on weekends. So I was, and not as a customer. I was a customer, but I came back and worked in the showroom.
Okay.
So, it
So
wasn't
this is now sales. This is retail.
Yeah. So I worked in, and obviously Saturdays was a big day for if you've worked in automotive throughout that era.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Saturdays is your big day because obviously people work Monday to Friday. Saturdays are the day that bring the whole family in. Let's buy a car.
Yeah.
Kick some tyres, wander around.
That's it. And back in those days, the Ringwood strip was very popular. We had, Ringwood Mazda, we had, Etheridge Ford, Ringwood Honda. So everyone was just dealer, hopping between all the
like
dealerships.
a display home village.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Don't like that furniture stores. Try that one.
It's like a mo show, basically.
That's it. Yeah, and that's how people bought cars back then too. I think we've explained, as we know it, the car buying landscape's completely changed. We're buying cars online now. We're looking for recommendations before we walk into a showroom. We know what we want.
Yep. And you're researching the hell out of it.
That's right.
You can sit here on your laptop and know everything there is to know about any model you choose to be interested in. So by the time you actually walk in, you'll know almost as much as the person standing there talking about it.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's it. Just I need this colour and I want to pay this price. What have you got for me? When can you get it?
When can you get it?
Yeah, that's what showed. But back then, people you had to build that relationship with the customer.
Yes.
So my job was actually concierge. I wasn't a receptionist. I was someone that was making the coffees.
You were meet and greet,
playing with the kids, do whatever I can to keep them in the showroom, and that's essentially what it was. And it was great because the people would join me from the service department. Oh, Melissa, you're working here now.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been servicing my Honda with you for 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm definitely buying a car here now because you're here.
Absolutely.
And the service department, they've really built that. And I don't know about you guys. I still service my other car with the dealership it was purchased from, and I've literally become a part of the furniture. I don't need a loan car because I can stay there all day and have a chat in the showroom. All day. And, okay, have you got one? I love it. And that's the thing. The service department keeps that relationship with the dealership and the customer because you just
if they do it well.
That's right. But that's the thing. Like I never, even now when I'm buying, handing over money, it's maintenance. You got to pay for your cars. My cars have their own bank accounts, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but I already know that if I'm going somewhere to do maintenance, the cars have their own accounts anyway. So when I go in, I know I'm spending that money, and a lot of people don't want to part with that money. Non-car people, they probably
it's a grudge purchase.
Oil and filter.
What do you mean I've got to put tyres on it? That's ridiculous.
I know. But but for me, like it doesn't matter what I'm paying for it. That relationship's there, Grab a free drink bottle and a free coffee, get my money to it. I'm joking.
Steal the paper from the lounge.
That's it.
Out you go.
Yeah, but no, that's a good thing. And that's what I mean. Like when those customers are coming from service, having that relationship there, coming into the showroom, having a chat, having a coffee.
Yep.
Oh, you're really going to upgrade your Odyssey to the new one? Like, the people were there.
If
So we got to see those
that's
older customers come in and
joining them along.
Yeah, and they did, and they bought their new ones, and then I'll go back to service and I'll see them again,
Yeah, that's great.
So,
you would have been an absolute asset to that business, no question.
Oh, I wish, and again, like it broke my heart to leave. And that dealership itself went through quite a transformation from the old Patterson Cheney group, and obviously the whole Ringwood got upgraded once the Eastlink came in. So they moved buildings and things like that. And then watching it shut down last year was just heartbreaking for me.
Very hard. Yeah.
So what happened after that for you, car wise? You drove a lot of company cars and stuff. But where did you go then?
Where did I go then? So got my Bachelor of Communication, and I was so ingrained saying, and the reason why I went to uni was to work in automotive. I wasn't going anywhere, so I ended up majoring in marketing and comms and PR. So and the whole way through uni, and Justin, if you're listening, I wanted to work for Honda Australia. That was like my goal. Was like, look, I've done the dealership, I've done that, started from the bottom. Now we're going to go to the top.
I want to go straight to the top.
Yes.
Tullamarine though, and I'm out here in the eastern suburbs.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're in an S2000 every day.
That's right. Every day
drive's a joy.
Absolutely.
But you didn't have an S2000.
I didn't know. I was still driving my Civic. So when I graduated though, this is where we come to another story.
A little bit of a present.
I graduated and time to buy a new car.
Yep.
So the Civic served me 10 or so years. I think it was a great car. Honda, good old Honda up in Clayton. Sorry, it got hail damaged. It looked like a golf ball. So I will admit, I had a good life, but I had a hard life.
Yeah.
But it got me through. That engine just,
never stopped.
120,000 on a Honda is
nothing.
It's still hitting puberty. It hasn't even gone anywhere. So So for me to let go of that car, I was like, I'm not giving it to a wrecker apart. It's got to go. I need to know someone's going to drive that car.
Yeah.
So for $400, I went to one of my mates, and his dad's got it.
Still
got it, and original clutch, and I think it's on somewhere near 300,000 Ks now, and still on the original clutch. That is
Still hail damaged.
Lightly. I think it was light.
He might have had a bit sucked down.
I may have re-rendered someone, so I got a new bonnet.
No ABS.
No
ABS. It happened. that was devastating.
So what came next? What did you go shopping for then?
So I was going to buy a new Civic. So the new Civic came out. the FK shave.
Yep.
Civic Type I wasn't due for another 6 months a year by the time I graduated. And I didn't have the money. I wasn't going to spend 55, 60 grand on a car because I just didn't have the money.
Yep.
So I went to go and have a look. Yay, I'm going to go jolly on in and skip to the Honda showroom. And what do I find? I find Civics with CVT transmissions. And I am a manual driver through and through. And look, I understand because they're not top sellers. You're either a manual or an auto driver, and some of you are like, oh, but I get lazy now. Like, I just want an auto. No, that's not me. I'm not that. I like to
I did lobby. I did say, look, the Civic Type R's manual, that's the only manual. Wouldn't you do an RS limited edition in manual? Like...
Similar to like that SI. Remember how they brought that SI out? With
yes, that's right. The import from the UK.
Had a funky little... manual transmission, but look, and they didn't. So I found myself still in automotive, and I was doing some casual work for another dealer group, and found myself on a weekend sale, and there was a used car lot there, and I saw this funky looking Kia, and I had seen one before. This wasn't the first time I'd seen this Kia, and it was black, and it was called a Proceed GT. What is that?
Pro apostrophe.
Oh yes, you've got it. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
So lowercase. So Kia capital letter K, Pro lowercase, underscore, C-double-E, apostrophe D. And mine was
trying to enter that in there.
Oh, the insurance companies have a field day when you try and explain what car you've got. They're like, can you repeat that again? And I was doing it. No, not the normal apostrophe. Do the backwards one that faces towards the E. And then it's GT, capital letters, GT hyphen tech, T-E-C-H.
And they're sitting there going,
yeah. So
which is very un-Kia, really, isn't it?
I know.
Up till then.
All the other names have been like Carnival.
Yeah. Nice and simple,
Rio.
right?
Rio.
A Rio and Carnival.
Rio Carnival. Things that people know. Yeah.
So I saw one and I said, I have to have that car. It's got Recaro seats in it. Yeah. It's got Recaro.
So
it's got and then manual
Recaros.
only. It was manual only.
Manual only. Yeah,
used car manager at the time. Like I was sitting there, just customers are around. Whenever I'm just sitting there, just shifting gears in the used car. Like this is a nice looking car. And then I was like, oh look, what am I doing? Like it broke my heart because I'm like, oh, I'm detaching myself from Honda.
Yeah, this is what's dragged you away from Honda.
It's still...
Kia, what am I doing? And at the time, it just didn't make sense. I was in this other role, and it didn't make sense to me to buy an old Honda. So I wasn't going to, and at the same time, I couldn't afford, still to this day, I could not afford that S2000, that dream car, and it wouldn't make sense as a daily anyway because I needed that extra space.
Yeah.
So on came the Kia dealer hunt, and it was, hey guys, you've just discontinued this car called a Proceed GT. Can you find me one in white at one of these Kia auctions that I heard that's happening? Because the dealers, ex-executives, so I was annoying all the Kia dealers, from Mornington up until Bundoora to Blackburn. They all heard from me. Can you get me a white one? And there was a limited run. So I think April of 2015 they ran, or May around then, they ran out the last of those cars and they had nav in them. So I got one of the special ones.
Okay.
I ended up buying it. So I found one eventually. I almost bought one from New South Wales because that's how desperate I was. I was like, I'm going interstate. I will. And I ended up buying one from a girl who sold the car to herself because she worked at the Kia dealership. It was her personal car.
It's like your nemesis.
Yeah.
Are you two besties now?
Oh shit! I've got a story about that. They're all okay. First of all, everyone with a Proceed GT is my bestie.
Is your bestie?
So if you're listening to this and you've got
how many
one,
was sold in Australia? How many?
I think there was somewhere near. Well, there was again. It was about 18 months for sale all up, and I think there was less than 800.
Wow.
Or around
it's
that
quite
low
a
100.
rare car.
And then I've kept a little written off registry, so I'm like, these are our donor cars eventually when I need parts. So there's even
where are they now?
Yeah, where are they now?
Yeah,
I've got pretty much like a photo album of all of them. Like, this is when it was bought new, and this is where it is now.
This is where it is.
No, I haven't done that. But
I think that's called stalking, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, look, in some circles.
Stalking?
In some circles.
Well, look,
you and I do the same
I'm
thing.
halfway hanging out. If I see one in traffic, and I saw one at the servo the other day, and it was P plates, and I was like, wow, I would have loved to have one of these on my P's. Custom plates, and I was already exiting.
Did they acknowledge you as another Proceed driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do. We all acknowledge each other. There was one that didn't, silver one, still looking out for you.
Dave and I, talking of that, we were in traffic the other day in your Integra.
Yes.
Like 86 Integra, bright red, pretty distinctive car. And David goes, oh, hello. In the rearview mirror, up comes this late 80s wedge Prelude with a pop-up lights.
Navajo red four-wheel steer.
Navajo red four-wheel steer. There you
89.
go. So that sales passed us at not a fast pace. He just cruised past us, and we were like, oh,
clean as anything.
Integra, 86 Integra.
Okay.
So like 86 Integra.
Salute at least, right?
Yeah. Nothing.
No.
Didn't even look.
Was he older?
No. He wasn't.
Because sometimes the oldies don't know what they've got.
Oh, exactly.
So back...
I could if it was on original D number plates and he was like 85, you know, he's doing well just to keep it straight.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Like I had this old...
weird.
I had
horrifying.
this service customer that would come in, and she was an older lady, and she'd come in, she goes, I don't know why all these kids run up to me at the service station and ask to buy my car from me. She was in a little VTIR.
I'll tell you why.
And she's like, all these young boys just love this car. She ended up trading it on the City Bless. But, and I think a few of the mechanics, I think,
they would agree. They would agree.
I'll be having that.
It's like on Seinfeld. Do you remember that episode where George's mother gets an eye job? And Kramer at the same episode, and this is tying into your current role, gets Arse Man. And so he's driving around with Arse Man on his car, and he picks her up from the hospital after the eye job. And they're like, hey, Arse Man! And everyone's beeping, and she's like, oh, it's really having an effect. It's like nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, so I ended up with this little Pro-State. So I bought it from her. Anyway, the girl that I bought it from, so she's like, look, we're starting a family. With her partner, so she's like, it's time for me to upgrade, and she ended up in an Audi A4 or something like that. So she sold the Pro-State.
Oh
well. But I didn't speak to her again. You know, I'll look after the car. It's going to get custom plates next time you see it. Beat me on the road if you find me. I'll keep servicing it here. Don't worry. Anyway, I never saw her again, and then I went to go service my car, and again I stuck to Northern Kia because that's where the car was bought from.
Yep.
Brought it back to the service department, and I see this white Pro-State pull in. She's bought another one.
Wow.
Another one.
She goes, I couldn't let go of that car. So she ended up buying another one.
Another one. Wow.
So she sold me her personal one, and then had this Audi for a little bit, and then she's gone back into the Pro-State GT.
Wow. That's the effect the Pro-State GT has on people.
Yeah.
And you still got that car?
I still do, yeah. So look, I'm about to come out of my 7-year warranty middle of this year.
Yeah. Oh. I think you'll be okay.
I've used the roadside assistance once because I had to get a battery.
Yeah.
But that was only last month.
If you're in some European brands, I'd say sell.
Sells,
but given that, I'd say you're fine.
Well, having that said, this is built in Europe. This is a Slovakian, look at me.
Yeah.
Slovakian built Kia. And not even South Korea saw this car.
Wow.
So when South Koreans on the forums, they know what it is.
It was
a
Euro-only model.
They've heard of it from distant shores.
Yeah, that's
but,
It's like, hey, that's our own brand. But
the Seed was a really popular range, actually, in the UK especially. There was a 5-door hatch and a wagon and all that sort of thing.
Still
and they
now.
were really distinctively styled, too.
Yeah.
They were much better than the sort of Korean versions, should I say. That were coming
Correct.
out
So
at the time.
Pro-Seed still exists, and they've taken away the underscore and
The
the
underscore.
apostrophe. It's called Pro-Seed now.
That was a bit
Proceed.
too hard.
Yeah, it's called
Which
Proceed.
is a word that people know.
Yeah, and it's a wagon. It is a wagon. It's a beautiful car. I admire from overseas. A lot of the.
So how many Ks has that done now?
I've just clicked under 80,000. Look, the last 2 years I haven't had a lot of driving. I've been working from home, so 80,000 Ks and look, mainly trouble-free. You know,
fine, you'll be
fantastic car.
Now, getting back to what I said before about the the number plates, you know,
Yeah.
because and David touched on this, I think, early on. Your role currently is in the number plate department of Vic Roads.
That's
Custom
correct.
plates.
Yes,
Custom plates, sorry, not number plate.
She doesn't
Custom
make them,
plates.
stamp
No,
them
yeah,
out.
no, yeah,
She's not a
Come
judge.
out
Did
the
some
back, come out
time
the
in the prison, Barwon prison. Okay. So tell us a bit about that, because
How did I
obviously
fall in there?
that is a massive, chunk of the Vic Roads plate business.
Yes, correct.
It's something that's increasing in popularity too every year, aren't they?
Absolutely, year on year. I mean, I've always had the eye for it, and I bought my first set of custom plates when I was 16. I made my sister do it. And
Yeah.
Give me some
Get
plates.
these for me. Yeah.
So she bought my
And they're
plates.
the current ones on your...
Oh yes, I've revived those. So they were originally on my little Civic, and I bought the hot pink ones because I bought them on the hot pink, flamingo pink as we call it.
Flamingo
Came out and slimline as well. So, but resold into deluxe black and whites, and that is on the Kia at the moment.
Okay,
Lovely.
It is Mattel.
it is Mattel.
Mattel is the company that makes Hot Wheels and
So there's a
Matchbox.
lovely tie-ins, a lovely loop back to
There
your
is.
Maybe
teenage
that's why they
collecting.
employed me. No. So I mean, again, I actually originally was employed as their marketing specialist. So I was there in the years of car events. So we haven't had them for quite some time. We're starting to get back into them now.
Coming back.
So
busy weekend just gone.
Things like Formula One. We did a Honda event. We did Honda Nationals.
Yep.
Black Label Invitational. There's a few grassroots events and large scale events that we got involved in. Motorex. And I was doing some marketing activity around that, so coming out with custom plates, talking to custom plates buyers and all that sort of stuff. So I loved that role, and coming into my contract had ended by that point, went into another Department of Transport role and ended up back there again. So I'm there again.
Cool. Excellent. Where you belong.
Yeah, where I belong, and it is the fun part of VicRoads, I like to say. But it's a great business to work for. And
we were saying earlier, it must be hard keeping up with Urban Dictionary and things like
trends,
that. And trends, and what people will try and get through on a custom plate that
maybe they should
be a little question.
I'm quite savvy. I don't think they know that I'm like the internet king of slang.
You're the perfect person for
you
that.
are absolutely. VicRoads are lucky to have you, I reckon.
Occasionally some slip through, not from me, the years prior before I worked there. There's hey, that's questionable now, but the thing is words have different interpretations to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And over time words evolve. So what was once acceptable in the 90s may not be, politically correct or tasteful.
Right.
So
what are some of the really clever ones you've seen?
Oh, look, I mean, EVs are becoming obviously a flavour for everybody. So I've seen a lot of clever EV ones, like, no fuel and zero emissions and all sorts of, words.
Do you know what car no rego is on?
No.
I'd love to. I don't, but I'd love to look that up.
Is it a plate? Have you seen it?
I think so. No reg or no rego. I'm pretty sure that's a plate.
Okay.
Interstate, we see a few ones, but we see a few cheeky ones where they might put a P plate in front of it to try and change the.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even going to entertain saying that, but there is quite a few cases.
Enos.
Pen 15. Sorry if you won't. Look, there's.
And you're looking at it going N15.
Fine.
N15.
Green light. Green light. Off you go.
My first car, the registration plate was AIR066, so I put my P plates, of course, on the end of it, so it was pair of sixes.
Have you still got that?
No.
Can I tell you now? That's a Victorian plate, obviously.
It was,
so the old garden states, as we like to call them, because that was the plate slogan at the time.
Yes.
So they've now been reissued as slimline black.
Black and white.
And they're custom plates, so someone will have that.
Someone
will likely have that.
I've seen AIR and sort of zero, a lot of different other combinations, but I've never seen 066.
Well, they're up to the end of the Bs now.
Oh, yes, I'm waiting them. I'm waiting them live.
Yeah, which originally was early 80s.
So is bum a thing?
No, I omitted that range, so that's gone. I'm sorry, guys.
No bums.
Bum 999, bum 000 to bum 999 I've taken out, so that's not going to happen.
See, I don't know. I'd be okay with that.
Other people won't.
Oh, no, maybe not.
No.
So
did they do them originally? They did. They would have.
No.
Oh, back in the 80s, they did do them.
No, even AWS I think was out as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, man.
Yeah, so I mean we're moving into C, but those are now custom plates. So anyone in Victoria that buys a new car from a car showroom and gets those slimline blacks is slightly more expensive on your own road crust, but you keep them forever.
Oh, they look much better.
I've moved mine between cars,
okay.
So you get to keep those ones. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen BRP burp.
Yep. BMW bought all the BMW.
They've got all the BMW ones.
I've seen a few BMWs and BMW on them.
Yep.
So that's your current role. That's exciting. But have there been any other cars that have come and gone since the Kia?
Yes. my main one. So after working through the dealership years, I actually was DM'd. I think that's the term these days. I was DM'd from the then CEO of Car Advice. And was told, well, look, it was pre-Stinger launch, and that's the Kia Stinger. And there was a lot of naysayers or haters, as we would like to put out there, that were all over the Car Advice articles and Wheels and Motor and social media. And it was hot topic. Like, you'd see it scroll through a thread, you had, 4,000 comments because people are just going nuts.
So not saying that it's not going to be any good?
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Kia's crap, Commodores are better, Falcons are better.
You
get those. And again, acceptance is a huge thing because it's, back then, and as I said before, Kia was such a brand associated to the cheap people.
Yeah.
Only poor people bought Kias and Hyundai. They were, the dime a dozen. There were heaps of them. They were just cheap. Yeah. But now we're moving into a performance car, into the Kia brand. It was just a huge thing. So for me, I was an early adopter. I already had a Kia with a GT logo on it.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it was a performance car.
You proceeded the Stinger.
I
see what you did there. That's pretty cool.
I pro _ C Stinger. So I was so excited to see this car, obviously, me being in the GT and like all this. And Optima GT had come out by then too, which was a nice sedan. Bless, I love that car. And the Stinger was coming out being the rear-wheel drive, and a lot of hype was in market around this car.
Absolutely.
And a lot of, like I said, angry people on the internet saying it's not going to be better than my 96 AU, or whatever.
Well, that's fine. Drive it. And make that decision.
That's correct. So I was rebutting, and I was saying, look, guys, I've I never thought I would have a Kia. And like, take me back 10 years, I don't think I would have driven one at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone outside of the
You
Honda
were just
brand.
Honda.
Yeah, absolutely. And ended up buying one, loved it. You know, no Kia owners groups with Proceed GTs. Could not find one person that had one. So I joined the UK Proceed GT group. Hey guys, how you going? Found all the Aussies in there. I'm like, guys, let's get together. We're in the same state. Found them all and put them all in a group. And then we, you know, is what is known as now the Kia GT Owners Club. So, yeah. But yeah, so that said, the CEO of Car Advice jumped into my inbox and said, look, come and drive some cars. You sound like you're passionate and, you know a thing or two. Thanks, naysayers. Thanks for all the angry men that were having a crack.
You got me a new job.
Exactly. And these guys, some of them were real nasty pieces. They would print screen my comments, put it on their personal page going, look at this girl, thinks Kia killed in action. Kia's, you know, she thinks they're so good. Oh, they used to...
I've never heard that.
I was trolled so much around Kia.
Do you think you were trolled more because it was Kia or more because you were a girl defending Kia?
It was both.
Wow.
There are still some people that leaves a bad taste in their mouth when they say, why do you run the Kia and Hyundai group? You shouldn't be here. You don't have a G.
They don't know you, obviously.
Oh, they just don't know. They don't know my history. So anyway, I ended up working for Car Advice, and the cars I drove then, and absolutely, like, we had things from Alpinas, you know.
You would have had an absolute smattering
of
stuff.
Absolutely.
Like
I was
cheap, expensive, everything.
Yeah, and they had cars that they owned. So they actually bought a Stinger. So I had a lot of time, and I loved it. So I was in the Kia Stinger group going, guys, now I know how you feel. Yeah. I don't own it. I drive it. Love it. Yeah. So I was in the Stinger. Another one was an Audi S1 that did the rounds, had sign printings, Car Advice written all over it, like that. Cool. The first car I actually did take was a Arbath 595.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a fun little machine.
It was fun. That was a fun car. So I had that.
There's one that lives near me, and it runs down this side street here all the time. And
you hear it?
I'm working from home, and boom, 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 and I'm like, oh, it's him again. Oh, it's him again.
And you know what? Like I had the little red one, and I found this matte grey one pulled up alongside. And he just wanted to chat. I'm like, I don't own it, but yes. I'm like, love it. So and it was nice. You know, put it in little sport mode and putt around. It took it out to the Yarra Valley, a few wineries, and took it. You know. Yeah, so I did some stuff with Car Advice at the time, and that was awesome because, you know, we got to know the community. I was a community manager, so, you know, encouraging people to write their own reviews on their cars and doing the open days and letting people come in and touching and feeling cars. And that's what I was doing at the motor show, essentially. So I was just.
So they were in Dover Street, Richard?
Correct. Cremorne. Yeah, Cremorne.
In this Cremorne it is now. In this tiny little... garage sort of off that tiny little narrow street. So
the amount of parking fines I had to write ourselves out of. I'm like, not a press car with another fine. I got us out of a few. We had to use that little garage, and obviously, as we know, Car Advice, as we know, it is now known as Drive. That they did merge. So Channel 9 did take acquisition of the brand. And is now known as Drive. So they're still around, but they're.
And why aren't you with them in a TV role now?
Because I've got other employees there. So my contract obviously had ended.
Okay.
But there is...
they need you back there.
A few...
I never say never.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, wait, I won't say the other... Oh, I'll probably have to mention it now. So Car Expert, it does exist. So I still have very close ties, and hopefully maybe Paul might join you, Paul Merrick might join you one day here.
That'd be brilliant.
But yeah.
Well, he's doing his own car podcast, I see, with a mate of mine, Gordy.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. I need to listen to more of those, by the way.
Oh, me too. I know. I need to be more involved. But look, I still sit at the back of Car Expert as well. So had some opportunities with them. I went off to the Hyundai N-Fest a couple of months ago, and that was
N-Fest. That's a thing.
That is a thing.
Who knew? How many cars?
I know. 100 easy.
From when I remember the first XL, or being aware of the first XL, somewhere around 1990, my mum's friend bought one for 13 grand or whatever. This is the square XL, not even the bubblegum pink 13990. This was the one before that. From that to having a Hyundai N.
That brand has completely changed. Wow. Yeah. Track day warranty.
Yeah, that's right.
Go and thrash your car. We want to see it happen.
We want to see it.
And we're going to pay you to be here to do it.
And they're incredibly innovative.
And Hyundai's running them annually, and that event was run fantastically. The second day we got to go out to high country and do the whole cruise through the mountains and things like that.
Fantastic.
And I had the little I-20N for the week, so I loved it.
You were happy. You were smiling.
So no, it's fantastic. So look, I'm still very much involved.
I didn't do the N van.
They had the drift van there, but it wasn't driving that day. They were doing demonstrations, but not that day.
End van, something altogether different.
Now, after all this, career trajectory and everything, have you managed to secure yourself an S2000?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Tell us that story.
So that story. So I'm still very involved in. So V-Spec Performance is another company that I've been involved in quite a bit with social media coverage and events, and Downshift Oz, which is
now V-Spec Performance are, I think I know what they do, but just for the listeners and watchers.
Drive.
Are they an importer of Japanese automobiles?
Okay,
or a modifier?
They do a bit of everything. So it is a car collection. I will begin with that. So the owner does own many dream cars, I would say, to a lot of us.
Collection of cars.
Beautiful collection. They do a lot of importing of parts, but they do source cars as well. So if there's something that you have your eye on in Japan, they could possibly get it.
They can source it,
or
ship
they've already
it.
got it here.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's the
They'll
price
build out
tag.
the back.
Price tag on everything there.
And they service them and maintain them for people as well.
Absolutely,
That's right.
So
and modify.
Yeah. So they come from interstate. A lot of these cars that are getting maintained through V-Spec Performance, they're not just local cars. They come from around Australia too. So, but that keeps them busy. So they also had a stand at MotorX. So I was doing some events with them as well. Yeah. So
tell us about the S2000.
So the S2000, how did that happen? So
he's eager to hear about the S2000.
Being connected to V-Spec Performance. So Alan, being the car collector, he's the owner of the shop. He came across a white S2000, just happened to drift on in.
Literally
sideways. Yeah, I had happened to help him source a silver S2000 a couple of years prior, and that was from a New South Wales dealership, and that ended up there as a part of his collection. I drove it, beautiful, less K's than mine, red interior. I'm like, but it was silver. I'm like,
gotta be white.
Okay.
White one ended up there pre-lockdown, so I think this was about January, February 2020.
Okay. This is pretty recent then.
Yeah. It is fairly recent, So I went in there with the Kia, had a look, drove it away, didn't come back.
I'll post you a check,
Gives
Alan.
me a call a few months later. It's like,
A few months later.
so you going to come get your Kia? Nothing about the Honda. I was like, do you want to come and grab this car? I'm like, yeah, all right.
Okay.
Look, he knew it was mine, so I did pay him for it. I did pay. So it ended up there. So, it was just a part of the car collections. And I have to admit, he has another 3 white S2000s there at present that he owns. So the fourth
There's
one
a choice
would have come to me. That's fine.
And are these Japanese import S2000s or are these Aussie cars?
These are Aussie cars he's got there. He's got Aussie ones. So I believe he does probably have capacity to have a few JDM ones that don't all get stored in Australia or here.
Yep.
He actually did have an S660. I was driving that for a while, which was a
that's
lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the other one I had was I drove the little cars there. I didn't want to drive any of the GTRs, obviously, because it's kind of scary. So the other one was the little Toyota IQ.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I had them both sort of
cool.
long term. I think I had the S660 for almost 6 months.
And you still didn't come to my place to give me a ride.
Someone had a little tingle, had a little accident in it, needed
I was going to let her drive the Scamp, and she was going to drive the
Finding parts for that thing's very hard. I think it's going to be very hard to find it for your car too. So
yes.
you can look forward to that if anything
thanks
was
very
to
much.
happen.
Thanks for that.
Don't hit anything.
So the S2000 grabbed
This
it.
is amazing.
And it was my dream car. And like I said, 17 years in the making, I finally got to take that car home that, originally
that
when I bought
satisfying?
it was.
Very satisfying and lives up to the dream.
It does.
Excellent.
It had a bit of a reversal project. I have to admit that the people that owned it prior to me done some modifications, all reversible and all tastable. Luckily they didn't roll the guards because I'm very picky about that stuff. They didn't. They had some nice fitted, genuine,
Okay.
So you've taken it back to stock.
I have taken it back to stock. There's a few little niggly things I'm still picking at. I would like to respray it. I know there's probably. I know I've had it for a while, but we've been in lockdown, so I haven't really gone out to do anything about it. Probably gonna get the respray done, but prior to that, I would like front and rear bumper bars because there's front and rear parking sensors on it.
Oh no. Okay. No.
You don't need parking sensors on an S2000. So the previous owners obviously put that on, each their own, and there's still a because it was a track car. I'll admit that they had they had roll hoops on it, so to fit your harness device into.
Right,
so I need to pull that out. It's just a couple of screws or whatever.
Yeah.
But
And someone will buy those off you though.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's
absolutely.
put it on the
When you
group.
do it, when you do it.
I took a photo of just before we went to the cruise. I was like, "Have you got roll hoops?" And they're like, "I just took a photo." And they're like, "When you're ready to take them out, I'll take them."
I want them.
Oh yeah, because it's custom fit. It's for that car.
Wow.
It's just. I keep
So
getting
is there
sunburned,
another aspirational car, or are you pretty happy with the collection?
As in another dream car that's now you've got that one. What's next on the horizon, if any?
I'm going to say it. but no judgment. So we can
No
judgment.
No.
All right.
Safe place.
I would absolutely love a 2022 Kia Carnival.
No judgment, David. No judgment.
No judgment.
No,
I'm coming from a place of people movers. I
Are
absolutely
you
love that car.
planning a family at all?
Absolutely not. No.
It's a bit like me, I don't have a family and I have a Tarago. So,
Yes.
We could be that cool people mover club.
Yeah, just the hashtag van life. I think there's plenty of Instagram followers for that van life moniker.
Yeah.
Do you want to rip the seats out and deck it out and put drawers and go camping in it like your mate? Or
Right now, as we speak, there is a Weber BBQ at the back of my Kia. But yes, I would.
Yeah.
I would do it. And look, I've networked over the years. A lot of Korean modifiers and things like that. We've networked over the years. There's a place called Jun Fitted, and they've put airbag kits on these things and high roofs and the cool reclining chairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want that.
Yes.
So I would make it full limousine styles.
And what a great pair if you had the Pro Seat, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere.
No.
Then you got the Sporty S2000 Rev ping 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 ping.
Yeah.
Then you've got your Carnival Cruise
everything.
interstate hauler sleep in the back.
That's it.
What a beautiful trio.
Yeah. There's a few other extras. I mean, that's realistic, right?
Yeah.
I think that's realistic.
I
But then
don't
there's
think
also, we're going to go a notch up. The hypercars do nothing for me, right? So if we're going to go into
I'm a bit the same.
okay, cool. Because
I
I love an
don't
old shit
get-
box. If you see
Me too.
if I see an old brown Volvo, I'm like,
Yeah,
look at that, guys.
David and I also love an old shit box.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I see anything with a garden state plate on it, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get very excited. But look, Audi RS6 wagon, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an unachievable one.
I
I say that now, but look, 17 years it took me from
Yeah,
yesterday.
Well, there you go.
I don't
get one
reckon
in
it'll
17
take you
years.
that long on the Audi. I reckon that'll be a
Okay.
shorter trajectory.
Well, I think it'll appreciate quicker.
Yeah.
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 Than the Honda.
Yeah, that's
I think
it.
so.
And look, having that said, every time I do drive that Honda, through the area, I am chased down the street. I've had a man follow me home in that car. So whether or not
Was it
that's
for
safe.
the car
Yeah.
or was
No,
it
oh, I wish.
you tossing your hair as you're driving along?
I get business cards. I don't give out mine.
Numbers come
I had
flying
a man
in.
in a Jeep, but I was hearing someone beep and whatever, and I'm like, it must be someone else. Like, it's not, surely
Yeah.
that's
What
not
are
for me.
you beeping at me for?
Anyway, I live at the back of a set of units. It's followed me down. This man's waving at me. He's like, hey. I'm like, hey. They're like, who the hell's that?
What are you-
I'm like,
What are you? My new name?
Weirdo.
Weirdo. It's like, oh, that's a tiny little Honda. Are you ever interested in selling that car? I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
But look, if I get caught at the car wash and there's other car people washing their car, generally
Oh,
there's
they'll-
always going to be a 1 hour
Yeah, there's
chat.
always something.
Occasionally at the servo, you
Yeah.
get the same thing. But this guy following me home, I'm like, that's a bit odd.
I mean,
But no, it's just the car.
David
Did you
has.
say Ring V Spec Performance? He's got a few.
Oh, goodness me, I wouldn't, no. But look, I'm on car sales right now. I mean, the most recent one, around the same year model as mine, is sitting at close to $90,000.
Wow.
I've called my insurer. I've pumped up my
Yeah.
value.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
But look, like I said, it's not like it's something I want to take it. I want to enjoy the car.
Yeah.
I don't want to just leave it in the
No,
garage.
no,
But I want to
no,
keep.
that's right.
I want to
You
keep the
gotta
kilometres
drive
low.
it.
So
It's
look,
not
I did manage to meet up with a group of ST1000s who went up to Mount Dandenong. So the next one is coming up next month, hopefully, and we'll be including the NSXs, which would be another dream car. I think that the
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
Ferrari is always.
And there's a
Absolutely.
lot more coming in now because you can.
There are.
Yeah.
We were saying the other day on car sales now, what were you saying? There was more NSXs.
That's right. Then there were CRXs,
Yeah.
CRZs,
Yeah.
inside, all those sorts of cars. It's sort of
And NSXs had more.
There's
No,
more
there were more
online because the
NSXs
Japanese
online.
cars are coming in now
With the
because of the
grain
new
imports
rules on
coming
the
in through.
imports. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah.
You
Are
want
they
one?
making $1 out of them? Like, are they?
They
I
must
think
be.
someone must be.
Must be.
They're and of course the manual attracts a huge premium if you
Yeah.
can find a manual. 'cause
There's a
they're
few autos.
comparatively rare.
People swapping them, like another
like-
guest of ours had.
Yep.
Blake. He was all bought an auto swap to a manual,
That's
but he
right.
had that done
That's
in
right.
Japan because it was better to do it there.
I
than
know
here,
that car very
apparently.
well.
Yes, you do.
Project NSX.
Oh, exactly. You probably did all the marketing for it.
Well, that's the thing. Honda has got such a small community. I think you guys can agree in Victoria.
Absolutely.
Like, you and I have still been connected after all these years.
Yeah, yeah.
But someone will ping me on one of the Honda groups and be like, oh, I used to, I got my radio code off you when you worked at Honda. I'm like, oh my god, like, that's how far it's
Do you
going
remember
back.
the radio
Yeah,
code?
probably.
Melissa?
It's just like my VIN number.
Yeah,
No.
you're like
But,
K2904.
But it's such a welcoming feeling, and now finally having my own and being able to join them, people have waited, like, people have been a part of this journey. I've been on those groups for years going, who's got a white S2000 to sell me? Who's going to,
Yeah.
and they've followed my journey and they've, they're sort of
So good.
applauding
Yeah.
that I'm finally there in my 30s. but
I reckon that's
got
not
there.
too bad. Some people wait till their 60s or they die before it happens. So, well done.
That's morbid.
Well
Well, well done for not dying
that
before
note-
you bought one.
on that note,
I think we should probably let Melissa go home and wind up. We could
and
keep...
drive that Kia again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With
It's
my
been
Weber at the
brilliant having you along. It's been
Thank you
brilliant
so much.
hearing about the cars.
Thanks for having me.
No.
And I'm going to pay extra attention to all the number plates that get auctioned from Vic Roads in future.
Oh yes, we've got an upcoming auction, so
Yes,
I don't know what
as-
time this will be airing, but
that's
tomorrow night.
Most
starting-
Shannon's auctions will have a selection of plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Custom plates.
Hand-picked.
You can
by
follow Mel on I'm a Till on Instagram,
You can.
and that makes for very entertaining following sometimes. Melissa, it's been great having you. Thank you so much for being a part of AutoRetro.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to hearing it
Thanks
all.
very much. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And good night.